Hello and welcome. My name is Bhuvan Unhelkar and I am presenting this course in NoSQL in this particular semester. If you are listening to this recording, then you are interested in the next big thing in technologies, and that is big data. While most of our study in information technology over the last half a century has been around data and the algorithms that process data, we are now moving into an age where the conventional understanding of even large amounts of data is changing. We learn in databases, typically relational databases, how data is stored in neat rows and columns. And then, starting with something as basic as Excel or Access, we move into large and complex data sets. And then we learn how to model those data sets. Therefore, we make use of entity relationship modeling, ER models. We make use of DFDs, data flow diagrams. We make use of classes and class diagrams stereotyped as tables. But even if we look at a large database, it is still a few gigabytes and in a large number of rows and columns, thousands of columns maybe, and millions of rows. That still forms part of data, or if we have to use a clarifying terminology, small data. So when we start dealing with millions of columns and billions of rows, as is done by Google, Amazon, Yahoo, and various service providers, which are essentially built on the capability to search and present something that can't be easily put in the row and column structure. Now, if you recollect your previous courses, you will also recollect and appreciate the fact that in order to store something in rows and columns, and in order to retrieve something back from those rows and columns, we used a structured approach which was essentially made up of two parts: a key, a search key or a store key, and the data, which could be many suite of attributes. We used a organized approach because the data was in rows and columns and of searchable magnitude. Now, as we look at what was known as structured query language, SQL, we find that structured query language that worked so well with organized databases in rows and columns may not work when we are trying to search, say for example, a million records, a million columns and a billion records rows. So a whole new approach to understanding data, to storing and retrieving data, and to modeling such databases has evolved. And in these next 12 to 14 weeks, we are going to study this new approach. I am more than convinced that you will find good career paths arising from this newfound knowledge, which includes NoSQL, Hadoop, and Spark, and various big data architectures, and the new programming constructs such as R. In this particular course, I am making use of two textbooks. I want you to please have these two textbooks handy. The first one is a brilliant, well organized, conceptual work in NoSQL. It is by Pramod Sadalge and Martin Fowler, and it is called NoSQL Distilled. I am basing my course, our course, on the structure of this book, and also I expect you to read the chapters as I mention them to you in our modules. I find this book will clarify the concepts for you and has well organized, neatly laid out chapters that deal with various types of NoSQL databases, the key value pair databases, the document databases, the columnar databases, and so on. And then, without going through the entire book, because we won't have time to do so, we are going to have a look at Dan Sullivan's NoSQL for Mere Mortals. This book has many code examples as compared to the NoSQL by Sadalge and Fowler. But at the undergrad level, where we are primarily focusing this study, we are trying to apply in practice the knowledge we gain, and this second book will help us write some pieces of code which will help us consolidate our knowledge of NoSQL databases. So I hope you find this study as enjoyable as I am finding presenting it to you. I hope it leads to major career breaks for you, and overall I think every IT professional and other people too need to know about these new types, new categories of aggregate databases, NoSQL databases, not only structured query language, not only SQL databases as they are called. So good luck, and we will continue to chat with each other during the course. This is Bhuvan Unhelkar. Thank you very much.